Hey, this is Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com, and in this video I want to talk about this framework called CATT. CATT stands for Content, Attention, Trust, Transaction. So this is the new funnel that you have to follow when you are a digital marketer and when you are trying to build a personal brand online to kind of establish your business. So earlier they used to have different funnels. They used to have a funnel called AIDA, which is more a sales funnel. And when individual salesmen used to go out and sell, then they had this framework called AIDA, which means attention, interest, desire, action. So if a single salesman goes ahead and tries to convert a client, these are the four stages that they have to take them through. But CATT is a mass trust system, which means that you are not like an individual salesman who is going to try to sell something to someone, right? So in fact, we can put framework here, and we can put the framework as CATT inside this. But to understand what why it is required, is because this is a mass trust system. And why do we need a master system is because unlike sales, which is the old method, so which is one-on-one sales, in one-on-one sales you will have AIDA, which is attention, interest, desire, and action. So that would be attention, interest, desire, and action. So one-on-one system is the old method. One-on-one sales, which is like door-to-door sales. Door-to-door sales is not scalable, right? You need to go and talk to people individually, one-on-one. So you are trying to develop trust with someone on a one-on-one scale. Mass trust system basically goes ahead and tries to build trust at scale. So building trust at scale is important for digital marketing, because if you are doing digital marketing, you can put your word out there, you can put your brand out there, but people are not going to buy your product unless they trust you. And one of the best ways to build a trust is through your own personal brand. So the communication or the messaging is still from a personal brand. Communication is from a personal brand. Like, is there a company who has ever done one-on-one sales? No, right? So only companies which are selling commodities which will advertise their brand name. They will go and put their brand name out there on TV ads, radio, and things like that. And only companies or brands will try to do marketing. But one-on-one sales was always done by people. You cannot have a company or a logo go knock people's doors and try to sell something to them. So if one-on-one sales has been done by humans, the digital marketing or building trust at scale, which I call the mass trust system, is also going to be done by a personal brand. So communication is from an individual, right? It's from an individual who is a personal brand. So right now you are learning from me. You are learning the master system from me. And imagine this was published on a website with no name in it. You will not really trust that person. You are trusting me because I am a real person and I have applied this master system for my own brand, which is Digital Deepak, and tried to gain people's trust so that they can pay attention to me. So you are building trust at scale. It's via digital marketing. It's communication from an individual, which is personal brand, and having trust at scale, helps you do sales at scale, right? So what you need to do is that you need to come up with websites, landing pages, blog posts, YouTube videos, and eventually maybe do webinars and have sales pages and try to sell to hundreds if not thousands of customers at the same time using your sales message. And that is kind of going to become highly efficient and highly profitable as well. So mass trust is the most profitable system that I have ever seen. And how do you build mass trust is what we are going to have a look at in today's video. So how do you build mass trust? The only way to build mass trust is to this framework, which is content, attention, trust, and transaction. So when it comes to digital marketing, if you want to get the attention of people, then you have to go ahead and try to publish content, right? So where will you publish the content? So there are different areas where you can publish the content. So you can do, you can publish it on your blog. You can publish it on your YouTube channel. You can publish it on social media. You can publish it as books, or you can publish it as ebooks, and you can also publish the content via a webinar. So it could be a live webinar online. So right now you are probably watching this video on my YouTube channel, and that is where my content is being published. So even before you try to come up with the content, you need to choose your niche, right? So niche becomes very important to choose here. So how do you choose a niche? You choose a niche which is a combination of your passion, talent, and market opportunity. So let's say right now there is a huge demand for digital marketing trading in the market. Digital marketing is my most favorite area, so I have a passion for it. But it's not just that I like digital marketing, so I go and teach digital marketing. I have actually done digital marketing and improved my talent in it. For 5 years, I was working in different organizations as a digital marketing manager. And then I ran a digital marketing agency for 3 years before kind of converting the whole thing into a trading company. So when you look at the entire focus area of how I grew as a professional, and if you want to look at the evolution of a personal brand, so let's say evolution of a personal brand, which is, or evolution of a professional, right? So evolution of a professional, which is also a personal brand. I go through different stages in the evolution, right? So the first stage of the evolution is that I learn. I went ahead and learned digital marketing. Without actually learning something, how are you going to develop the skills? But after I learned, I also worked in digital marketing, right? So the work can be freelance, or it can be full-time employment. So full-time employment, or it could be freelancing, where I'm basically trading my time for money and I'm helping someone do what they can do. But now that I have learned, I have worked on digital marketing, especially for others. Now I can start my own blog. So learn, and then work, and then I can start a blog. In the blog, I can go ahead and tell people that, hey, this is how you learn digital marketing, and this is how you do digital marketing, and these are the things that I learned. So as I keep learning and keep working, then I can blog about it. So this is what happened. So I first started learning about digital marketing. I got a job in digital marketing. Then I started digitaldeepak.com, which is the blog. And then once I start blogging, and once I have some level of expertise, what I can do is that I can do consulting. So consult is basically teaching, trading time for money again, but instead of doing the work, I am giving advice on a hourly basis. So what I do is that I simply put a link on my blog, so that, hey, if you want to consult me and if you want to talk to me for 1 hour, then go ahead and purchase this. So my first ever income from my blog was that I sold a 30-minute consultation for 500 rupees. And that's when I started getting the confidence. Hey, I have something of value that other people want, and they might be interested in learning from me. So you learn, you work, you blog, you do consulting, and then you go ahead and you do mentoring, right? So mentoring is basically group coaching, and you are trying to help a bunch of different people, instead of just trying to create an information product and selling it online, or you are not trying to give advice on a hourly basis one on one, because now that your advice and the knowledge that you have, because you have gone through this process, you have gone through learn, work, write about it, because blogging is the best way to take notes, best way to build a community. So you start with blogging. What happens is that people who start visiting your blog kind of starts building a community around you. So you can do a Facebook group, or you can do a online forum, or you can have a Telegram group. So you can start building a community around you, and only when you have a community, they are going to share your blog post further, right? So after you start mentoring, now that you know a little bit more about the market, then you go ahead and start up. So this is what I did. I started teaching people in groups. I started consulting people, and then I went ahead and started my own startup, which was a digital marketing agency. A startup is going to scale your services, and a lot of people try to start up without going through this entire process of actually working, blogging, consulting, and mentoring, because they don't understand the needs of the market very clearly. So understanding the needs of the market is very important, and that can happen only when you are focusing on a particular niche, which is a combination of passion, talent, and market requirement. So then you kind of understand the market better. So when I was in the digital marketing market, I kind of started understanding the market better. And because I started understanding the market better, I understood that, hey, a lot of people want personal branding as a service, and a lot of people want digital marketing services. So that's when I started scaling my services. You can hire team members. So you can hire team members or freelancers, and have leverage of your expertise. So instead of trying to give advice one on one, and instead of mentoring a group of people, now you are also giving a service away. And or you can scale your products. You can build your product. So you can scale your products. Service on some level is also kind of productized, instead of wanting to take up your time, which means that you need to have best practices, systems. So all that kind of becomes your own startup. And then you eventually go ahead and teach, right? So now that you have started up, like I have run a startup company, I don't have time for mentoring anymore. I still do mentoring for a very small group of exclusive people, where the cost of the mentoring program is like really high. But now I go ahead and teach, and teaching is much more scalable. Scale your mentoring. So you are basically scaling your mentoring, and you are going to create content, and have minimal involvement, because you kind of got the product market fit so right, because you have been doing group coaching, you have been doing mentoring and all this, and you know how people are going to react to your content. So the teach is going to be extremely scalable. Like for example, I'm creating this video, and this video can be seen by thousands and thousands of people. But I don't need to mentor them personally. I don't need to do Q&A sessions and all this. So I recommend that evolution of a professional is very important, because you are going to have to go through all the stages. So a lot of people try going and teaching and creating courses without having gone through this 7-step process, and that's when they don't get the product market fit right. They create a course, and then they wonder why people are not buying it. Before you get to the teach level, actually startup, try to create a startup, and actually make revenue from the startup. Before you start up, you mentor, group coaching. It could be live calls, and it could be you are doing Q&A session. So only then, when you do group coaching, you are kind of understanding what the market needs from you, what are the questions, which you can eventually put it in your online courses. So scaling your mentoring is basically about online courses, which I have started doing a lot. But I did not start doing online courses until I went through this entire evolution of a professional. So my evolution is that of a digital marketer, and my next evolution is going to be that of being personal branding expert, because I have learned a lot about personal branding. I applied it in my digital Deepak thing. I have started working in personal branding. I did help for people as a personal branding expert. I'm going to start blogging about personal branding, then I will consult on personal branding, then I will mentor on personal branding, then I will start a personal branding agency with a bunch of products in it, and then I will go ahead and start teaching personal branding. So without going through this evolution, the people who join your teaching program also need to see whether you are a real guru, not a fake guru. So if you want to be a real guru, then you need to go through this evolution. So a lot of people just learn and then they go and teach, they miss all the points in between, and that's when their online courses do not work. So this is very important to keep in mind when you are trying to build a personal brand. And we will talk more about niche a little bit later, but let's come back to the framework. So the framework is basically content, where you are publishing content, blog, YouTube channel, social media, books and ebooks, and webinars. So as you start publishing content on these different channels, what is going to happen is that you are basically putting out your expertise out there for people to consume. And this starts happening after you start, learning and working. So when I say blog, it just does not mean that you go and publish it in a blog. It also means all the channels of content that you can publish. And today we have blog, YouTube channel, books, ebooks, webinar. Tomorrow we might have different channels as well. And when it comes to social media, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. So I go ahead and publish my content inside Facebook, inside my Facebook page, and then I boost it for my audience. I boost it for the audience who have visited my blog. So that is also a good way, but these are all temporary. I have been using the internet from the days of Orkut, from the days of MySpace, and social networks come and go. Maybe Facebook will be the last social network, maybe not, we never know. But you keep getting these, LinkedIn, then you have Twitter, then you have Quora. So these platforms will come and go, but the idea is that you go ahead and publish your content, and you are publishing content because you know something about it. So blogging is something that I would recommend that you do even after you start consulting, mentoring, starting up and teaching. Like for example, if you are mentoring a group of people, then you can take the videos of the group calls and put it on your blog or put it on your YouTube. If you are doing consulting, you can do advice on a hourly basis. You can also record the call and put it back on your blog, because if you are going to give advice to someone specific, then it is also going to be helpful for other people in that niche, right? So that way you keep putting out your content. But what do you need beyond that is that once you put out your content, you need to get attention to your content. So when you want to get attention to your content, there are different methods. So one of the best methods is SEO. So SEO is not just for blogging, but there is also so there is website SEO, which is let's say, or we can call it blog SEO. You are doing SEO for your blog. Then you have something called YouTube SEO, and you are basically trying to get in front of people who are trying to search for you. And I would say that then you have paid advertising methods. So you can use paid ads to get attention. You can use viral marketing to get attention. And you can have any method of marketing is to try to get attention to the content that you have already published. So within attention, you can go ahead and try Google ads. Then you can try Facebook ads. Then there are Quora ads. Then you have LinkedIn ads. So there is no limit to the amount of platforms that keep coming, but paid advertising is going to be basically an idea that you go ahead and try to make payments for getting more attention, right? But instead of trying to get attention to your product directly, you are basically trying to get attention to your content first, so that people can pay attention, and then eventually you can build the trust. So when it comes to Google Ads, you have the Google Display Network. Then you have the search ads. So search ads are like SEO, but you are going to show your links for people who search for particular keyword terms, and you are going to try to rank for it. And then there is a SEO involved within Google Ads itself, where you are trying to optimize your ad results to try to show on top of the search engines, right, on top of all the other results. Viral marketing, you can use tools like UpViral. So that is a referral marketing tool which I have used. You can do affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is also a very good way to get attention, but affiliate marketing also kind of comes under the transaction model, because unless you have something to transact, you cannot pay people a commission for transacting, which we will get to. So any method of marketing that gets attention is kind of going to help you, and you are going to get that attention within a niche. So when you are selecting a niche, you need to basically look at a group of people with common problems, right? So for example, digital marketing is a niche, and the problem that people have within digital marketing is that they want to learn digital marketing and they want to execute digital marketing. And I have built a personal brand as a digital marketer, basically using the CATT funnel and going through this evolution step. So in fact, I will call this execution framework. So that's how you execute, right? So now that you have published content on your blog, and you have started getting traffic to your YouTube channel, and you are getting all this content, but then you drive attention to all this content that you have published on all these different channels. Then what happens is that people start liking your content, but people will see your content and then they will forget about you. So how do you build trust with them? So you build trust with them with repetitive engagement, not just the first point of engagement. So repetitive engagement is needed to build trust, which means that you need to hook the user, right, or the hook the audience. So what happens is that when you are getting people to, let's say, subscribe to your email list, subscribe to email list, follow me on Twitter, or it could be Instagram, or it could be subscribe to my YouTube channel. So you see people, a lot of people saying that, hey, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, click my bell icon. You have seen a lot of such ads probably. And then you can also pixel the user, pixel the user, and then retarget them, remarket to them using ads. So basically what happens is that, see, if you are watching this content right now, there is a very high chance that you are not watching content from me for the very first time. If you are just reading my blog or watching this video for the very first time, you can think about, are you trusting me enough to go ahead and make a transaction right now? If I go ahead and sell you my digital marketing mastery bundle, which is a course that I have, will you go ahead and buy it right now? Probably no. But if you are going ahead and watching this content for the fifth time, or watching content from me for the 10th time, then slowly what happens is that you start trusting me more, because we are having more engagement. And this is similarly, the trust in the real world also happens in the same way. Like for example, let's say you are getting a business partner, or you are doing a business deal with someone. How do you do a business deal with someone? How do you get clients? How do you outsource something to someone? Only when the trust factor is involved. Without the trust factor being involved, you cannot do the transaction. When it comes to sales, when it comes to business, there are only two major areas that is involved. One is trust and one is transaction. I mean, there are two major areas involved. One is targeting, and one is building trust. So niche is your targeting, and mass trust system is the way that you build the trust. So first you target a group of people, and then you build trust with them. And once you build trust with them, you can sell it to them, right? So in the real world, how do you develop trust? Like for example, let's say you are meeting someone in a conference for the first time, and you are basically saying hi, and this person is saying, hey, I studied in the same school as you. Oh, that's nice. And you are just having a conversation, and this person kind of becomes your friend, and you still don't know him enough so that you can jump in and start having a transaction or a business deal with him. So you go ahead and let's say you get exchange phone numbers and message each other. So let's say after 1 week after this conference, you are telling this person, hey, why don't we meet for dinner? Let's go ahead and just have dinner and talk about business and talk about various stuff. So you go ahead and have the second meeting, and then you really had a good time hanging out, and then you meet for the third time, then you meet for the fourth time. Only when you know the person for a while, only when you know the other person, some level of in-depth information, like about his family, about his aspirations, about his fears, you kind of get a comfort with him, and then it is easy to do a business deal with him. You can either become the client of that person, or that person can become a client of yours, or you can start a business together, you can be partners in it. All that happens because you know that person for a very long time. Like for example, right now I have started a business with my co-founder, and I know him for 15 years, which means that the trust factor is very high. So trust factor usually comes with time. It comes with repetitive engagement. And just like you would if you visit if you see someone in a conference who you like, you will definitely exchange the phone number, right? And the reason for exchanging the phone number is that you can get in touch with that person on a later date, and that's basically hooking, right? So this is building trust one on one. But when you are building trust at scale, which is what we are talking about, mass trust here, the idea is that you go ahead and get contact details of people, of a lot of people. Like for example, if you look at my email marketing tool, where people are coming and trying to subscribe for my free digital marketing course, I get thousands of subscribers every day. So I'm basically establishing contact with thousands of subscribers. I'm basically hooking the user. That's how trust is built over time. Trust is also built via social proof. So other people like you, they like your content, and they tell you that, hey, Deepak helped me with this, Deepak helped me with that. So that kind of builds social proof. And then eventually it comes to transaction. So transaction may, how do you make a transaction? So once you have built the trust, you show your offer that matches your niche. So if the offer that I have is matching with your niche, then they are going to have result. And this is what you are going to show your audience, right? So basically what you are basically doing is that you are combining the offer and the niche together, and then there is going to be result. Like for example, let's say I have a personal branding course and you want to learn personal branding, and I understand your requirements of personal branding, how you want to become a personal brand and all that stuff. So I have an offer. So my offer is my personal branding course, the need of the niche, right? So we can even say offer plus need. So this is the need that you have. So my offer should be so well built that the need that you have, which is the niche, if they are combined, they are combined together, then there is going to be a result, right? So how do you actually get them to transact? You have to persuade. So let's say someone trusts you. Let's say you are asking a woman to marry you, and she trusts you. But just because she trusts you, she is not going to marry you, right? You need to persuade her. Then you need to convince her that, hey, I'm a good deal. You need to really take this call, and then you ask her hand for marriage, and then you are going to get her to marry you, right? So that's what happens with niche as well. You come up with an offer, you offer it to your niche, and the niche will get result. You show social proof of other people who are getting the result. Then you persuade. So how do you persuade? There are 7 triggers. So persuasion is where sales triggers come in. So sales triggers, for example, there is reciprocation. So there is this 7 sales triggers developed by Robert Cialdini. you give something like valuable content or some samples, then people have an obligation to reciprocate. This is something that is woven inside our society. If you are giving gifts to someone, then that someone has an obligation to give gifts back to you. And that's how the world works, that's how the world goes round. So you have 7 triggers of reciprocation. So even this particular video, I am publishing this video on my YouTube channel. I'm giving this content for free, and it is probably going to have a reciprocal effect on you, because I'm giving this content for free. You can take this content, go ahead and build your business, build your personal brand. But since I have given it to you for free, you might feel an obligation, or you might feel like, okay, this person has given me so much content for free, I like him, I trust him, let me go ahead and give something back to him, right? Which is transact with me. So reciprocation. Then you have commitment. So if people commit to go ahead and do something, like for example in my internship program, people commit to learn, and once they commit to learn, then they are persuaded. So then you have authority. Authority is basically, I try to have like a high social status, and I'm an author, I do public speaking. So all this is going to give an authority. But don't take me wrong, reciprocation, commitment, authority alone is not going to help you go ahead and try to establish and try to get the transaction going. It usually does not happen like that. Your result that you are bringing to your client is more important. This is just a persuasion trigger. Then you have social proof. So social proof becomes another trigger. If a lot of people like my content, if a lot of customers have got results from my program, then you are going to go ahead and buy my program. If a lot of people have got results from my product, then you are going to feel that, hey, I don't need to really think hard to do a decision for myself, and it's gonna work out. So you depend on social proof to make a decision. So the next trigger is scarcity. So if there are limited amount of items available, then there is a motivation to buy, and for motivation for people to jump in. So that's where if you look at Amazon, they would say only 2 units remaining. And if you see that you want a product, and if you see that there are only 2 units remaining, you are more likely to purchase it. And as long as you don't fake scarcity, as long as it is authentic, then you are going to have feeling that, hey, I want to buy this. Then you have this thing called liking. So liking is basically how friendly is the person that you are buying from. If you like that person, then you are more likely to buy. If you like me, then you are more likely to buy from me. And that's where authenticity comes in. I talk about being authentic. And when I am authentic, then people like me more. I am connecting with the market in a better way, right? And then you have fear. Fear of missing out, and fear of having a negative outcome. So these are the 7 different triggers of persuasion. So this is how you do. But again, the channel through which you persuade people, it can be sales pages, it can be webinars, and it can be sales videos as well. So these are the three important areas where you can persuade people. Because how else would you communicate all this? How else would you go ahead and trigger people? So now that you have content, then you have people's attention. Then you build trust with the community that you have built, and then you eventually persuade them to get them to transact with you. So content, attention, trust, transaction. And once the transaction is done, then you are making a profit. Then you can put that money back into content generation, and probably try to get more people into the funnel. So let's say this is the funnel. This is the funnel that I recommend. This is how you get people from stage 1 to stage 2, and stage 3 and stage 4. So this kind of stands independent of your own evolution. So the evolution of a personal brand is about you. The funnel is about them. The funnel is about your customers. The funnel is about them. And the evolution of a personal brand, let's call it evolution of a personal brand, it's about you. This is the stages that you go through, and this is the funnel that you create to get people through different stages to eventually do a transaction. right? So this is the CATT funnel. This is the mass trust system, and this is how you go ahead and try to build a personal brand, and go through your own evolution, and eventually build a business that one day will make you millions and millions of dollars. So I hope you liked this video, and go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want more videos like this. Click the bell icon to be notified of new videos. I publish new videos once every few days like this, very in-depth content, long form videos. And my videos are usually not like full of bells and whistles. I'm not putting graphics. I'm not putting a lot of fancy stuff around, because that is not going to be something that is important. I mean, maybe someday I will start doing it, but what is more important is the content that I share with you. And for people who have watched this video until this point, I am pretty sure that you don't really worry about this video did not have fancy graphics, video did not have music or anything like that, because I am in the business of getting transformation for you. I'm not in the business of giving information. In fact, that is one of the core fundamentals of master system. It's transformation, and transformation, not information. Because you don't need to build trust to give information. So that's why media houses, entertainment channels, all those content channels are just kind of giving away content for entertainment purposes. But this content is not for entertainment purposes, it is for transformational purposes. And when the content is made for transformational purposes, not information purposes, or not information, or not entertainment, right? It's not information, it's not entertainment. Information comes in different forms. It could be coming in form of news, it could be coming in form of entertainment, it could be coming in form of jokes or music, movies, Netflix. All that is in the entertainment business, right? So here, you can kind of understand that the reason that this video is so minimalist is because I'm focused on your result. I want you to build your personal brand. So yeah, before I keep going on and on, let me finish this video. So thanks a lot for watching this video until this point. Go ahead and leave a comment below about what you think about this video. That's the most important thing that I want from you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.